Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Narrated Umar bin Maimun. I saw Umar bin al-Khattab a few days before he was stabbed in Medina. He was standing with Hudayfa bin al-Yaman and Uthman bin Hunayf, to whom he said, "What have you done? Do you think that you have imposed more taxation on the land of Aswad, Iraq, than it can bear?" They replied, "We have imposed on it what it can bear because of its great yield." Umar anhu again said, "Check whether you have imposed on the land what it cannot bear." They said, "No, we have not." Umar anhu added, "If Allah should keep me alive, I will let the widows of Iraq need no man to support them after me." But only 4 days had elapsed when he was stabbed to death. The day he was stabbed, I was standing, and there was nobody between me and him. Umar anhu except Abdullah bin Abbas. Whenever Umar anhu passed between the two rows, he would say, "Stand in straight lines." When he saw no defect in any row, he would go forward and start the prayer with takbir. He would recite Surat Yusuf or An-Nahl or the like of in the first rakat, so that the people may have the time to join the prayer. As soon as he said takbir, I heard him saying, "The dog has killed or eaten me." At the time he, the murderer, stabbed him, a non-Arab infidel proceeded on carrying a double-edged knife and stabbing all the persons he passed by, on the right and left, till he stabbed 13 persons, out of whom 7 died. When one of the Muslims saw that, he threw a cloak on him. Realizing that he had been captured, the non-Arab infidel killed himself. Umar anhu held the hand of Abdurrahman bin Auf and let him lead the prayer. Those who were standing by the side of Umar anhu saw what I saw, but the people who were in the other parts of the mosque did not see anything, but they lost the voice of Umar anhu, and they were saying, "Subhanallah, Subhanallah, glorified be Allah." Abdurrahman bin Auf led the people in a short prayer. When they finished the prayer, Umar anhu said, "O Ibn Abbas, find out who attacked me." Ibn Abbas kept on looking here and there for a short time, and came to say, "The slave of Al-Mughira." On that Umar anhu said, "The craftsman." Ibn Abbas said, "Yes." Umar anhu said, "May Allah curse him. I did not treat him unjustly. All the praises are for Allah, who has not caused me to die at the hand of a man who claims himself to be a Muslim. No doubt you and your father Abbas used to love to have more non-Arab infidels in Medina. Al-Abbas had the greatest number of slaves." Ibn Abbas said to Umar anhu, "If you wish, we will do." He meant, "If you wish me, we'll kill them." Umar anhu said, "You are mistaken, for you can't kill them after they have spoken your language, prayed towards your Qibla, and performed Hajj like yours." Then Umar anhu was carried to his house, and we went along with him. And the people were as if they had never suffered a calamity before. Some said, "Do not worry, he will be all right soon." Some said, "We are afraid that he will die." Then an infusion of dates was brought to him, and he drank it, but it came out of the one of his belly. Then milk was brought to him, and he drank it, and it also came out of his belly. The people realized that he would die. We went to him, and the people came praising him. A young man came saying, "O chief of the believers, receive the glad tidings from Allah to you due to your company with Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and your superiority in Islam, which you know. Then you become the ruler of Caliph, and you ruled with justice, and finally you have been martyred." Umar anhu said, "I wish that all these privileges with counterbalance my shortcoming, so that I will neither lose nor gain anything." When the young man turned back to leave, his clothes seemed to be touching the ground. Umar anhu said, "Call the young man back to me." When he came back, Umar anhu said, "O son of my brother, lift your clothes, for this will keep your clothes clean and save you from the punishment of your Lord." Umar anhu further said, "O Abdullah bin Umar anhu, see how much I am in debt to others." When the debt was checked, It amounted to approximately 86,000. Umar Azallahu Ta'ala anhu said, if the property of Umar Azallahu Ta'ala anhu's family covers the debt, then pay the debt thereof. Otherwise, request it from Bani Adi bin Ka'b, and if that too is not sufficient, ask for it from Quraysh tribe, and do not ask for it from anyone else, and pay this debt on my behalf. Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu then said to Abdullah, go to Aisha Razallahu Ta'ala anha, the mother of the believers, and say Umar is paying his salutation to you. But don't say the chief of the believers, because today I am not the chief of the believers, and say Umar bin al-Khattab asked the permission to be buried with his two companions. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Abu Bakr Razallahu Ta'ala anhu, Abdullah greeted Aisha Razallahu Ta'ala anha and asked for the permission for entering, and then entered to her and found her sitting and weeping. He said to her, Umar bin al-Khattab is paying his salutation to you, and asked the permission to be buried with his two companions. She said, I had the idea of having this place for myself, but today I prefer Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu to myself. When he returned, it was said to Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu, Abdullah bin Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu has come. Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu said, make me sit up. Somebody supported him against his body, and Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu asked Abdullah, what news do you have? He said, O chief of the believers, it is as you wish. She has given the permission. Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu said, praise be to Allah, there was nothing more important to me than this. So when I die, take me and greet Aisha Razallahu Ta'ala anha and say, Umar bin al-Khattab asked the permission to be buried with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And if she gives the permission, bury me there. And if she refuses, then take me to the graveyard of the Muslims. Then Hafsa, the mother of believers, came with many other women walking with her. When we saw her, we went away. She went into Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu and wept there for some time. When the man asked for permission to enter, she went into another place, and we heard her weeping inside. The people said to Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu, O chief of the believers, appoint a successor. Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu said, I do not find anyone more suitable for the job than the following persons or group whom Allah's apostle had been pleased with before he died. Then Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu mentioned Ali, Uthman, Azubair, Talha, Saad, and Abdurrahman bin Auf, and said, Abdullah bin Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu will be a witness to you, but he will have no share in the rule. His being a witness will compensate him for not sharing the right of ruling. If Saad becomes the ruler, it will be all right. Otherwise, whoever becomes the ruler should seek his help, as I have not dismissed him because of disability or dishonesty. Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu added, I recommended that my successor takes care of the early immigrants to know their rights and protect their honor and sacred things. I also recommend that he be kind to the Ansar who had lived in Medina before the immigrants and belief had entered their hearts before him. I recommend that the ruler should accept the good of the righteous, or recommend righteous amongst them, and excuse their wrongdoers, and I recommend that he should do good deeds to all the people of the towns Al-Ansar, as they are so protectors of Islam and the source of wealth and the source of annoyance or to the enemy. I also recommend that nothing will be taken from them except from their surplus with their consent. I also recommend that he do good to the Arab Bedouin, as they are the origin of the Arabs and the material of Islam. He should take from what is inferior amongst their properties and distribute that to the poor amongst them. I also recommend him concerning Allah and his apostles, protectors, the means to fulfill their contracts and to fight for them, and do not overburden them with what is beyond their ability. So when Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu expired, we carried him out and set out walking. Abdullah bin Umar Razallahu Ta'ala anhu greeted Aisha Razallahu Ta'ala anha and said, Umar bin al-Khattab asked for permission. Aisha Razallahu Ta'ala anha said, bring him in. He was brought in and buried beside his two companions. When he was buried, the group recommended by Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu held a meeting. Then Abdurrahman said, reduce the candidates of rulership to three of you. Az-Zubair said, I give up my right to Ali. Talha said, I give up my right to Uthman. Saad, I give up my right to Abdurrahman bin Auf. Abdurrahman then said to Uthman and Ali, now which of you is willing to give up his right of candidacy to that he may choose the better of the remaining two, bearing in mind that Allah and Islam will be his witnesses. So both the sheikhs, Uthman and Ali, kept silent. Abdurrahman said, will you both leave this matter to me, and I take Allah as my witness that I will not choose but the better of you? They said, yes. So Abdurrahman took the hand of one of them, Ali, and said, you are related to Allah's apostle and one of the earliest Muslims, as you know well. So I ask you by Allah to promise that if I select you as a ruler, you will do justice. And if I select Uthman as a ruler, you will listen to him and obey him. Then he took the other Uthman aside and said the same to him. When Abdurrahman secured their agreement to this covenant, he said, O Uthman, raise your hand. So Abdurrahman, gave him Uthman the solemn pledge, and then Ali gave him the pledge of allegiance, and then all the Medina people gave him the pledge of allegiance. Say Bukhari, Hadees number 3700.